everybody. Raylene Osberg here with you today for Naptime Nuggets number 37. It's a very, very eye-opening experience for me, looking at kindness and the brain and what impacts kindness has on the brain very quickly, because then we're going to jump into how do we increase it in young children. Because what we know is if we set the brain pathways early, young kids will develop kindness, patience, and they will have less stress, less anxiety, and less depression, and they will be more helpful, kind, and loving, which helps them develop great relationships and succeed in school and in life. So we want to give them just a little bit, right? When I'm sitting at a stoplight and I'm waiting and the light's not turning, and then I just all of a sudden I say something like, turn green already. Oh, I'm running so late. And my little child's sitting in the back watching me. When I get angry and frustrated with other drivers and I say something maybe not so kind, I have a little eye sitting in the back watching me, right? So everything that I do is going to really be interpreted from the young children in my life, and they're going to learn kindness or patience depending on what it is that I'm doing. So I'm going to give you some strategies today, but I was asking myself, why is kindness so difficult? Why do we have difficulty with kindness? I'll tell you why. One reason is evolution. Eat or be eaten. And kids start this way when they're young, right? If you take my toy, I'm going to throw you down. I'm going to hit you. I'm going to take the toy from you. That's what 1 and 2-year-olds do. They yell, kick, scream, hit, and bite to get their needs met. That's evolution. That's instinct, because I need to fight for myself and for my rights. And then we have to teach them to actually consider other people and to be kind to other people, and why they should be kind to other people. In studies, 3-year-olds would take less of something like a cookie so that somebody else would get less. Isn't that terrible? They would take less to make sure you didn't get any. That's 3-year-olds. They could win every single time and not be sad at all that you're losing the entire time. So we have to cultivate kindness. It doesn't come naturally. The good news is by 8, 9 years old, kids will take less so that somebody else can have more. Why? Because we have cultivated kindness. So here we are looking at, when it comes to young kids, why is it so difficult to be kind? So part of it's just evolution. But another part is we cannot see the suffering that people are going through. So it's very easy for me to say, look at everybody here, they all have it together. They all feel confident. It's not true. You know how I know? Because we all have a human brain, and the human brain struggles. Have you ever thought, oh, I'm going to get this car and then I'll be happy? And then you get that car and you just think about what that car doesn't have that you wish that you had, or you still just go about your daily life, 150 files open in your head. You're trying to balance so many different things. That makes it really hard to tune into other people and what other people need, and how to be kind to other people. One last reason is TV. The more media we have done in our culture, the less we are volunteering and helping others. So the less kind acts we're having. We come home, we veg out, watch the TV instead of volunteering, connecting, and helping others. Guess which one actually decreases your stress and increases your joy? Volunteering. Nobody gets done watching TV and thinks, oh, I feel so good. I really help people. I feel like my life's purpose is met. Nobody does that, right? So it's just kind of a suck. It sucks our time and it sucks our energy, and we don't end up feeling as good afterwards. So more media use, especially in teens and young people, more anxiety, more depression. It's actually been linked in recent studies. So what can we do about it? How can we increase kindness? How can we increase connection, kindness, so that people really feel like they have some purpose, they have some joy, and they don't have as much anxiety and stress? So I'm going to give you some top tips for helping kids increase their kindness, okay? So that we can cultivate this and build the brain pathway. In Mind in the Making, that details how if we can teach kids how to perspective take, how to put themselves in the place of the other, they will actually be smarter and do better. They will develop the executive functioning skills they need to not only succeed, but thrive. Okay, so here we go. How are we going to do it? I already mentioned being a model. So how am I going to show my kindness toward others, my patience, my understanding? How am I going to help others? And this isn't just others who maybe are kind to me. That's easy. How am I going to help people who are unkind to me? How am I going to be kind even when somebody's mean? Isn't that the time it's the most difficult? But remember, kids are watching, so they're learning from our model. So we're going to model kindness. But there's also activities that you can do. So I'm going to be listing on my blog some different ideas from some different wonderful links on different websites. But here's the way to think about it. Number one, you want to teach them what kindness even is. What is it, and what are the things that look like kindness? So there's all sorts of books you can get at the library or online. I'll link to some of those. But there's things like books on caring. Like there's this one, it's called Sumi's First Day of School. And some programs, preschool programs and early childhood programs, use this book to show how this English language learner who's really trying to do well at school feels. His actual experience going through having to be in this environment where he doesn't speak the language. And it shows kids increase their empathy and their kindness after reading the story because they never thought about it. They never thought about what it felt like to be the other person. So really reading books that help cultivate kindness. We also read some books on caring behavior. So it showed kids opening the door for adults or, helping each other build a tower. And then we sat at circle time and we had kids identify what are some things that you can do that are kind. And we made what's called a kindness tree. So an actual tree that was on the wall that we made little apples, and on the apples that had different kind behaviors. So then they can just start to think about what behaviors actually are kind. What's neat about that is you get their brain looking around for things that are kind, and guess what they're not thinking about? Negative anxiety producing thoughts. So the more we can fill our brains with kind thoughts and gratitude, the less time our brain or space our brain has to think those negative thoughts. So creating a kindness tree at circle time, identifying what are all the things that we can do to each other that are kind, and then go on a kindness hunt. Teach kids, okay, today you're going out on the playground. Look around and see if you can find some kind acts and put them in your pocket, put them in the back of your mind, and bring them back, and you tell me, what kind acts did you see today? So that is going to get kids like looking, who's being nice, who's being kind, and what behaviors are they having. And then you can talk about, how does it feel when people are kind? So all of this identifying things to do to be kind, going on kindness hunts, looking for people who are being kind, talking from the other perspective and reading books from the other perspective. What does it feel like to be different? What does it feel like to struggle? What does it feel like when you have a new sibling? What does it feel like to have to share? Whatever ones the kids can identify when it comes to the different struggle that kids are going through. And then you celebrate kindness. Teach them how to compliment each other. Teach them how to recognize, like, oh, you gave me a toy. I feel good. I feel happy. You're my good friend. Thank you. So you can even celebrate what are super friends and start to have some ideas that you share around what makes a super friend, and make sure you're using that word, kindness. So I'm going to end with this quote, and then I'm going to stick around and read some of your comments. When you are kind to others, it not only changes you, it changes the world. That's Harold Kushner. Don't we want to live in a world that's kinder? It starts with the children. So how we treat children, how we treat each other, and what we do to promote and grow that kindness is going to make a difference, not only in our world, but in the world after us too. Take care. Over and out.